guys. All right, our next topic is a more serious one. I don't like to mix my sports with politics, but there are certain things in the world that just affect everything. And this thing happening in this conflict that's happening, well, it's not a conflict, it's a war that's happening with Russia against Ukraine has affected just about everything. All right. I mean, we have first world problems here. In the United States, it's affecting gas, it's affecting things that make our cursed life here just a little inconvenient. But there's real shit happening to the people of Ukraine over there, and it's affecting the boxing world because newsflash, if you live in a hole, if you haven't noticed, there's some great fighters that come out of Ukraine. All right, and two Hall of Famers, and one of them is the mayor of Kiev, which is Vitaly Klitschko, and his brother took up arms to defend their country. Lomachenko followed along with Usyk, and you can also see a little bit how it affected Postol against his fight against Russell, just a little bit. You can just tell, and Iceman, this could potentially have some effects, if not already, to the guy that you are the assistant trainer for, Artur Beterbiev. And recently, Chris Mannix reported, I think like a week ago, that the WBC, the WBO, the IBF will not certify Russian fighters in championship matches and completely dropped them from their rankings. Guys, I'm going to start off with Iceman. Cool or not cool? What do you think they hope to achieve in doing this? I mean, it's not like the war is going to end just because they dropped their fighters. I don't want to get political. I don't want to get into this topic sensitive. But in regards to boxing, what the fuck do they hope to achieve?
Right. I'll tell you something I learned over the years, and I'm grateful to boxing for allowing me to travel the world so that I can, because I go out there. When I go somewhere, I don't stay in the hotel and I don't stay on the block. I go. I get in the car, I run, I go meet the people. I always say
I got lost in Atlanta, and I was like, oh shit, I might have to call Mike.
Listen, you can't go to Jamaica. You can't go to Jamaica on a cruise and sit on the beach and tell people you've been to Jamaica if the only Jamaicans you've seen are the ones working in the resort. You know what I mean? You got to go out and see the people, right?
That's right.
So for me, they've got to understand that, people probably are under the impression like every Russian wanted to invade Ukraine. When I was a kid, I don't know how old you guys are, but when I was
we lived through the Cold War and all, and Red Dawn and Rocky IV.
Right. As a kid, I was scared of Michael Myers and Russian people because I thought Russians all wanted to kill us and hated us.
But that was the
media still teaches that.
That was the narrative.
The media still goes with that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But listen, I know so many Russian guys, Dmitry Salida, Artur Beterbiev, so many guys I'm friends with. These guys are great people. Like they don't want war any more than we do. The government. So my point I'm making is you can't punish Russian fighters. These guys are fighters, they're boxers, they're just regular people like us. They're not politicians, they're not soldiers. They don't want people to die. I know Artur Beterbiev very well. Artur is Russian, Chechnyan. Artur is one of the nicest people on earth. Like he's a great person. He's a devout Muslim.
Humble.
He's a great guy. Artur doesn't want people to die. You know what I mean? So you can't punish this guy because it's pointless. Like you're punishing a guy that has as much to do with it as I would when we invaded whoever we invaded 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like imagine if they came out and said, all right, United States is over in Iraq, so that's it. We're taking how come the WBC didn't take all the American fighters out of the rankings when we invaded Iraq? How come Roy Jones didn't get benched? So
right.
I think
good point,
politics,
John.
Right. Politics have no place in sports. And it's funny what I say, but I think a lot of people that are listening to your show right now are going to be like, That's right. America goes into countries all the time and they don't get American fighters don't get invaded. And you know why? There wouldn't be any more boxing if all the Americans got taken out of it. So politics has no place in sports. And this is, you know, I bet you if you interviewed half the Russian guys and they were honest, they'd go, man, I don't care about this. I'm a fighter. I don't even know what's going on over there. I just want to fight, you know. But so I'm sure it's not like when I was a kid and all Russian people just are war minded. I'm sure that's not accurate at all.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Mike, what you got?
Oh man, this is a tough one, guys. You know, Jacob, I know you don't want to get political, but this is political, and you know, I gotta kind of step in it and say some things.
Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
This hits home for me personally. You know, I'm known as an Italian. I'm an Italian guy. My father's Latin heritage. He's Italian, but my mother is Slavic heritage. She's a Russian and Ukrainian. So this hits home for my family. And my time in boxing, training and working in media, I've met a lot of wonderful, wonderful people from that part of the world. You can't work in boxing and not meet people from that part of the world, right?
That's right.
I've trained with guys from that part. I've sparred with guys from that part of the world, right? So I'm sorry to go here, but I have to.
That's why I brought you on the show, man.
All right. Yeah. There is so much fucking hypocrisy going on right now with this bullshit. And literally, some of the most woke people on boxing Twitter had no fucking problem going over to Saudi Arabia for that AJ Ruiz rematch, where they fucking murder women for showing their ankle. Now I'm exaggerating, but shit like that, you know, women just got the right to drive recently. And there are several women who had in American boxing press who had no problem going over there covering that event. The WBC and all these other sanctioning organizations have had no problem sanctioning Chinese fighters when there are literally concentration camps right now punishing the Uyghur Muslims in China. Okay. There are horrible dictators and bad actors throughout the world that the boxing community has seemed to be cool with if the money was right. Okay. Now you're punishing an ethnic group, people just because of where their ancestry is from. And it's nothing to do with the war. I got to say this. If there is a conflict going on in Nigeria right now, and the WBC said, we are no longer going to rank Nigerian fighters, would everybody be cool with that on Twitter? I think there'd be a lot of people complaining if they said, oh, we're not going to sanction Jamaican fighters or Nicaraguan fighters or you know, fighters from Ghana. There'd be hell to pay. There would be people marching in the streets and breaking shit. But because it's Russians, it's okay. And there's this xenophobia, and I'm just going to say flat out prejudice in this country, in the West, when it comes to Russian people. Now, I say all that, and I admit that Vladimir Putin is a piece of shit. We all know that. He's not a good guy. But the Russian people that I've talked to, they're not cool with this. They don't want this. And by the way, Ukraine is not a democracy. A coup is how the current leadership got in charge. The people that were in before are now in jail. That's not a democracy. So this is a very complicated situation. And I fully support the Ukrainians over there fighting to defend their homeland. I had Tom Loeffler on my show last Friday. He's very close with the Klitschko brothers, obviously, but also guys like Sergei Bohacek, who's over there. Postol, who you mentioned, went over there right after his fight with Russell. There's a bunch of guys over there right now. And I think what's happening in Ukraine is awful. And I think the Russian government is acting badly. And I think that our government and some of the things that we've done have led directly to this. And there are people in our government profiteering off of this bullshit. And the media, of course, is making it two-sided because everything in our country gets whittled down to two sides, which is so freaking stupid and it drives me nuts. But yeah, I think this is ridiculous. And I've talked to a few people in the boxing industry off the record. I'm not going to name names, but I've talked to a couple of network people and a couple of promoters over the last week related specifically to this situation. And basically, what the thought process is behind this is we're going to put pressure on Putin by punishing the Russian people. Because if we punish the Russian people, they'll revolt and rebel against Putin. That's not going to happen. The people over there that doesn't happen in a dictatorship.
Right.
It just so punishing Russian fighters who are based in other parts of the world and have nothing to do with the government. I personally feel that this is wrong. And if it was pointed in another direction, I don't think I do think that people would be up in arms on social media. The only reason this has stayed kind of quiet and no one's really complaining is because it's Russians getting fucked here. And that just seems to be okay in America for some reason.
Yeah, no, I will echo both your sentiments. I think it's total bullshit too. I think the fighters that are being dropped from these rankings and not being allowed to fight and make a living and put food on the table, because not everything is about world titles and the glitz and gloss that goes along with being a prize fighter. Some of these folks actually that's how they put food on the table. Yeah. They're just a casualty of war as anybody else. So there you have it, folks. The Iceman, myself, and Montero think is total bullshit that fighters from Russia are being dropped from the ranks, not being allowed to fight for championships, and the WBA is the lone it's the lone black sheep here. But they always do something a little weird, don't they? The WBA is always weird in that sense. But they too have taken a stance. They're just not allowed. If you're a Russian champion, you're allowed to fight and defend your title and do all that.
Oh, they're getting that sanctioning money, baby. They ain't fucking with Canelo Bevo. Come on, man.
Come on. WB will have the super duper champion if you allow it.
Yeah.
So anyway, there you have it, folks. The cold truth is, listen, sanction the bodies. Let the Russian fighters fight. That's the cold truth. And with that, no, I don't think another topic will trump that. So we'll save our Alexis Arguello and Chocolatino topic for another episode, because I want to end on a positive note. And with that, so there you have it, folks. Iceman John Scully, Michael Montero giving you the cold truth about 3 heavy topics revolving boxing. And until the next time, join us on episode 3. And we don't have set topics. We just, as the boxing world, the boxing news develops, that's how we develop these topics and go on. Thanks for joining us. Iceman, thank you for your time. Till next time. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Sure. Thanks a lot, guys.